Greetings, friends, and welcome to the woods. Yesterday, I decided to uh, get a head start on providing what we'll call Movie Mondays. Every Monday, I'll do an interpretation, a dream interpretation, on whatever movie I have been able to see that week, something that's currently out, so that you can see it and tell me what your interpretation is, and so that I can see what's currently rattling around in the psyche of America. And I picked one that was fairly innocuous, thinking, this is a Disney movie. It's making a big splash, so it's connecting with a lot of people, which means this is going to apply to a large number of the consensual reality processing, psyche processing of a lot of our population. This is a safe bet. And when I opened up to see the underlying energies, I was immediately black-pilled. So we'll talk about that on Monday. But it just goes to show that even the most innocuous and gentle of what we think that we're dealing with, when you look below the surface, it's not so innocuous and it's not so gentle. So we'll get to that on Monday. In the meantime, it on the surface level, it sparked a lot of remembering and realization, secrets that I want to share about the workings of magic. Now, let's let's just put it on the table that spiritual gifts, spiritual abilities, and magic, it's two different terms for the same thing. Just because it's spiritual doesn't mean it's good. And just because it's magical doesn't mean that it's not real. Magic is simply technology that we haven't developed a name for. But then spiritual gifts, same thing. What I have noticed when I've observed the community of people who try to consciously work with their spiritual abilities in order to master who they are and what they can do, and hopefully help others, or in some cases, help themselves, what I have noticed was let's start with this. Magic is not of the mind, it's of the heart, it's of source, it's intuitional, it's creative. And it's something that you need to interact with the energy of source, if not source, your link to source itself, to manifest, to make, to do it. Those who are proficient in its crafting are those who are able to relax, and they tend to have a lot of grounding in their self. They tend to have a lot of belief in themselves. If you don't believe in yourself, then your society and the other people around you are going to override what you're doing. And if they believe that you can't have a better garden than they do, or you can't heal yourself without their permission or their intervention or using their means to do it, if you're not strong in yourself, they're just going to roll over top of you, and what you're doing won't work. So those who are proficient, they're very set in self. They're strong in their self. They're grounded in their self. They're assholes, a lot of them. You have to be. If you're not arrogant, if you're not willing to override other people's desires for you, then you're going to be stuck in consensual reality. And your gifts, your abilities, your magic, it's not going to work. Now, those who want to override a very strong consensual reality. That and it's stronger if it's publicly known. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have cancer. The consensual reality is, in all likelihood, unless it's caught early, you're going to die. You're gonna die in agony. You're gonna go through all of the medical processes. It's difficult. It's demeaning. It's expensive. You're going to be bankrupt. You're going to be suffering by the time you get to the end of a period of time where that you're going to fight. And the harder you fight, you might be here longer, but it's going to be bad. Okay, that's the consensual reality. If you tell other people that you have cancer, they're going to put that expectation, if they're the normal person, they're going to put that expectation on you, and it's going to lock you in a straitjacket, and it's going to make it more likely that's going to happen. If nobody knows, then the only energy you're going to have to struggle with is your own expectations. Now, usually if there's dis-ease in the body, then there's something that has to be dealt with or straightened out. It could simply be your environment is toxic, and for whatever reason you stayed in it rather than escaped from it to a place where you could heal. But let's say something like that's happened and you need to get out of the situation. So you need to go out where you have allies or assistance, because if it's reached the level of disease, then it's gotten through all of your protections. All of the other aspects of your life have now taken a back seat and have been affected by it. You don't have enough energy to maintain yourself. Other aspects of your life have suffered. So you need to gather energy where there's no agenda, nothing to stop you from doing what you need to do. So you go out into the natural world, all of this here, and you connect with it, and you connect with Source. Because unless the ley lines of where you've chosen your natural world have been polluted, and that can happen, if it's a pristine place, you can link in with Source stronger. You can gather energy from your surroundings, and you can use it to fix your situation. You do need to get to the bottom of what caused it in the first place and rectify that, or you're just going to keep contaminating yourself, and it's like digging yourself out of a pit from inside the pit. You're digging, but you're not going anywhere. You could throw you can throw that mud out of the pit, but you need to rectify what caused the problem. But once you do so, you can heal yourself. And some sorts of disease, some sorts of cancer, it's easier than others. And you can also manifest the information that you need to heal yourself, because the answers are out there. But you're not going to find them if you're tied into consensual reality. And where your magic, where your power, where your gifts, your spiritual gifts might go, is putting the information in front of you so that you can take the actions you needed to rectify that situation. But this is all very nebulous. Magic, the spiritual abilities, they're very nebulous. There are those who they want to make it much more precise. Now, the ones who understand that it's nebulous and it's spirit and it's not going to be controlled by the mind, we call those witches. The ones who are more determined to focus what they can do, we call those wizards or magicians. They have all of these different rituals and all of these different tools, and they are in control, and they know how to focus, and they're good at it. Two different ways of doing the same thing. Both sides can have unexpected outcome. when the, I don't want to use the word control freaks, but when those who put a lot of determination and effort into utilizing their abilities, utilizing their energies, when they work, it's a tight, narrow beam like a laser. And when the disaster happens, when the explosions happen, when there's a miscalculation of some sort, it's spectacular. The damage is over the top because the concentration of energy was so fierce. It was so pointed. It was to make happen what they intend to make happen. When a witch was somebody who's, much more diffuse and much more adaptable, malleable with their energy use, when they make a mistake, it's usually easier to rectify, although it can get really sticky because it's of a broader area. So, it can have all sorts of problems that show up. It isn't just one big spectacular explosion. It's many mini fires that go on around them, depending on how much energy they put into it. And some really, really unexpected things because they've scatter shot. It's the light is diffused over a large area. It's difficult to talk about some of this stuff because our language doesn't lend itself to being able to work together to make magic happen. We'll get there. And I have other things to share about that are darker issues. We'll talk about that after Movie Monday because some of these themes did come up in the interpretation. I really don't want to share, but I think I really should. And welcome to the woods.